Joining us today, we have Saraswathi Vani Balgam. Saraswathi is a critically acclaimed creator, director, and is the founder of Dancing Autumns, a boutique animation development studio. So Vani is also a story consultant and mentor with Unreal Fellowship Program for Epic Games. She's currently dabbling with virtual production, immersive storytelling, writing and creating original animated IP. With over 20 years of experience in the VFX and animation industry, Vani has served as the head creative management for DreamWorks Animation in Shanghai and as the executive director for Rhythm and Who Studio in Asia, which is a multiple Academy Award winning studio. So without any further delay, let's listen to Saraswathi speak about singing, dancing, and playing with Unreal. Thank you so much, Saraswathi, for joining us today. We're really honored to have you.
Thank you very much, Krishnaveni. This is so awesome to talk to all of you at the Visual Effects Summit. I really thank you for inviting me to be one of your speakers. Giving back to the community is something that I enjoy doing the most. So without much ado, I'm going to start my presentation. Let me know if it's...
Yeah, you can start, please.
Okay, great. So hello, everyone. Namaskaram. I'm actually born in Andhra Pradesh in a small village in Vijayanagaram. So who am I? I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm a student, I'm a wife, and I'm a seeker. A lot of the times we forget who we are because we are everything because of our relationships in life. But on a professional side, I'm Saraswathi. They also sometimes call me Vani. I'm a writer, director, creator, and a filmmaker. So my story really started somewhere here in a lower middle class, small family back in India. My father and my mother were the most creative people that I had in the house. Everything from stitching clothes, on how to wear a sari, on how to cook. My father was constantly painting and drawing in the house, which gave us this world of imagination, the power to do whatever we wanted to do. At a very young age of 6 or 7, he brought us a movie, a VHS tape, actually, a rented VHS tape and a player of Walt Disney's Bambi. And I grew up watching animated films back, I don't know, like in the 80s. I always wanted to be a filmmaker. There was just no turning back. Even at the age of 16, I was very fortunate to get into cameras, and I wanted to be a director. I wanted to be a DOP, a camera person, because I love visual storytelling. I'll put some plans together, and I think visual storytelling is in every household in India. We do that with rituals, we do that with festivals, we do that with everything else. So at a very young age of like 16, 17, I went to Madras actually, and I went and wanted to be an intern with this really popular director. And he was very happy. And he said, yeah, hang out for 1 week and see how it's going. And that was the first time they were doing some green screen. And I was like, oh my God, this is fantastic. But very soon the truth came out that it's not a safe place for girls. And I was like, what do you mean it's not a safe place for girls? And literally, my dreams kind of broke right there because I was a girl and I was not going to change that. And I said, but I want to be on the creative side. And so my father and my brother, and I said, oh, great. So I went and joined a visual effects studio only because there was a security guard outside. And there were very expensive computers inside. And the security guard was not to protect us, but he was there to protect the computers. So I was like, that's okay. At least I'm safe. I have the basic things that I need. And there are lights all the time. I have a bathroom for myself if I need to go to. And these were the little things that I needed back then. So very soon I went to Mumbai, Bombay back then, and I started working at this really beautiful studio that encouraged me to do everything that I wanted. Of course, there was a lot of putting down women that was constantly happening. But I said, it doesn't matter, like I'm just going to do my thing. You can come in my way and do whatever you want. I'm just going to, kind of work my way up here. So I worked on a lot of Bollywood films back then, like Gulam and Dushman, where there was a double role and little things. The most of the visual effects in India back then were like maybe like a murder sequence or like running in front of a train and jumping in front of a train. So I was like, okay, this is still exciting. And even there, when I said I want to be a creative, I was always told, no, you're so good with English, go do something else, go get some business and do this and do that. But anyway, I love painting. That's another thing I want you to know about me. I love to paint. You just give me any colors and I'll just go and create whatever I want to create. I love trekking. I've been trekking the Himalayas for over 20 years now. And that's something that I advise everyone to do. Like being in nature helps us. Being and connecting with nature helps us. Photography was my first passion even as a child, and I continue to do that even today. I think photography tells us and moves us in a way that it emotionally connects us to that experience. As a visual storyteller, I love watching people. I love grabbing, thinking what these children are doing, and I love children and their creativity. So again, I went back to filmmaking, and as I was getting into learning, at this point, I knew most of the stuff. I felt more confident about getting out there in the industry and saying, I'm going to be a director. And I was producing and directing for a short film. And I got a call from Rhythm and Hue Studios, and they asked me to come and help them set up their studio in India. And they're an Academy Award-winning studio. I have zero knowledge on how to run a studio, or I don't even know what the details are of running a studio. But it was tempting. They were very nice people. And very quickly, I felt like I was juggling. I was trying to learn and I was trying to manage. This was the first photograph of Rhythm and Hues way back in 2001, I want to say. Just a small group of people, technology, a few compositors, me managing. So as I said, like I had to use my creative energy all the time, even in management, even in the places that I set up. So a part of all of that was, I love creating spaces, as you can see. I love making the place feel like we belong there. And so part of building Rhythm and Hues physically also meant that I wanted to bring in a lot of our art and culture into the premises. So creating Wali paintings, creating Madhubani art on the walls and the murals in the Bombay studios, making it as organic as possible, and creating a great place for people to work. So Rhythm and Hues Bombay, I started, and then, we got the opportunity to come to Hyderabad and set up a studio there, and then Malaysia, and then Taiwan, and these are the, people. I think talent is universal. And when the opportunity was provided for me to set up something, I just had a great time, like building studios and building people and motivating people, because I was highly motivated. So it was a great experience. And that's Bill Westenhofer over there with the Academy Award. When he came down to the Hyderabad office, he just shared the entire, it's all teamwork. So I love that kind of a feeling. So we worked on a couple of Academy Award-winning films like Life of Pi and Golden Compass and Chronicles of Narnia. Later, I ended up going to DreamWorks, and at DreamWorks, I was given the opportunity to be their creative management for story and biz dev. That's exactly what I wanted. I wanted that creative energy. I knew I wanted to be a storyteller. I was getting closer to my path. And in that process, I spent some time there. And again, a trip to the mountains kind of told me that I have to now start telling my stories. It was time that I did that. And I literally jumped at that immediate intuition, I want to say, and taking a very big risk of becoming an independent filmmaker. running big studios is a big high, because when someone says, I work for the studio, then everybody recognizes you. When you say, I'm a filmmaker, they're like, so what? So it was a challenging experience for me. And I'm going to show you a quick clips of my filmmaking very quickly.
ऐसा है कि जिसको जहाँ पहुँचना है उसको वहाँ पहुँचने का प्रेरणा मिलता है, कहीं से भी मिलता है। इसलिए भारत आने का हमको भी कई जगह से प्रेरणा मिल गया था। I think do your best and leave the rest. This is what we have to do. This is all we can do, and this is how we should do our things. यहीं पे रहना है, एक किसी अच्छे महात्मा को गुरु रूप में अपनाना है.
That was a documentary I had made. These are some of the short films.
Un sentido de pertenencia.
It's a Spanish film, actually.
Fuego y libertad. Un vacío brillante. ¿Qué van a encontrar? ¿Encontrarán lo que están buscando? Especie de silencio en todo este caos.
I create my destiny, my roots from the brandy. I've learned to just be whoever, whatever I believe. I am rising.
This was a film about the Me Too movement. I was asked to direct it here in Los Angeles, and I was excited to do that.
No smoking in the store. Can you cut that out, please?
All right.
Get off me!
What are you doing? What are you doing? Maria, are you okay?
All right.
लड़की घुमा रहा है साले
यार क्यों नहीं करती टाइम पे
Get me an ambulance. Magnolia.
अम्मा अम्मा आज मेरा फैंसी ड्रेस कंपटीशन है
कभी नहीं
So anyways, as you can see, this was something that I love. It comes very intuitively to me, in the sense that I love directing films. I love telling stories. The last clip that you saw, Third I'm Lucky, was actually for a feature film, and we had to do a proof of concept to get it approved. So that was basically what that was. So I ended up, as I said, I left DreamWorks and I decided that I was going to start my own little thing and be on my own 2 feet. And so I created Dancing Atoms. So right now we're about 20 odd creative people that are all attached writers, filmmakers, executive producers, and we're writing preschool as well as doing a lot of live action projects. This is one of my feature films that I'm currently working on. It's a very low budget independent film with just 6-7 of us over here that are all just having a little bit of fun, and it's still work in progress. I'm going to share a clip for everyone very quickly, and I'll give you a little sense into it. So that was my live action feature film that I'm currently working on, and I'm trying to use virtual production and do like a mixed media and make it into a mishmash kind of a thing because the story demands it, about a young boy on identity and identity crisis growing up in India. I'm good friends with Vaibhav Kumaresh, and he's been working on his movie Return of the Jungle, and I've known him for, I would say, a long time. He was probably one of the first people that he had pitched Return of the Jungle when I was still working at Rhythm and Hues. So I'm co-producing Return of the Jungle with Vaibhav. On the preschool side of things, I'm creating my own IP, which I'm currently pitching and developing. I'm also doing a teen drama series that I'm working on with a bunch of writers here in India and in Los Angeles. So that's all my background. And then I'd like to now talk about how this whole Unreal thing happened. And so in like last year, what was it, 2000? Was it 2000? Yes, it was 2000. So in 2000, this whole pandemic had happened. And you know, my live action that I had to come back to India to film had to be put on stall because I couldn't film it because of the pandemic. And I was doing some seminars for Asifa India, and then I bumped into Shruti at Epic Games. And I was just telling her how there aren't enough women in visual effects. There aren't enough women-based panels. And you know, that I was feeling sad that after so many years, still there aren't that many women that get invited, or creative leadership, I would say. And she said, yeah, I know. And then that conversation basically led to, hey, there's this Unreal Fellowship, and I think you should just go attend the fellowship and just, you know, do this 5-week program in the US. And I was like, no, I don't think I'm going to do that because I don't know how to use a computer. If you give me a camera and you give me, you know, a phone, I'll direct, you know, but if you told me to use like a tool, sit in front and learn keywords and, you know, like learn technology jargons, I'd be like, no, I have worked on some of the best films, Academy Award winning films, but I am not I wouldn't say a technical person. I'm not an operator. I'm not someone who can operate technology. My brain doesn't work that way yet. But she was very insistent. And then she said, come on, you can do it. So my project that I did with Unreal Fellowship was called Jeet. again, I'm not an artist. So if you ask me to draw storyboards, this is how my storyboards would look. So I was given the theme called exploration, which meant that I could do anything that I wanted. And I'd never heard about Unreal before that. So I knew a little bit that it was a, like a real-time game engine. And heard about it like in conferences, but I never like deep dived into the whole thing. So they said you have to do a minimum of 45 seconds in the Unreal, using Unreal. And I said, okay, what can I do? And this is what I came up with. I came up with a human head with 3 eyes, and it's changing eyes because it's seeing things differently. And they said, okay. And then I started doing some very rough ideas. And one of the ideas was basically there's a earth that's floating, and there's a girl, and she's floating, and the camera is going like this, and she's jumping, and then she's running through these doors over here. That if you can see these doors, she runs through these doors, and then she comes out of it finding herself. So that was the basic exploration, 45 seconds, the bare minimum. And yeah, more art over here, like she's jumping from one planet to the other, then she multiplies, and like she's got a kite. I wanted to bring in something that was very Indian and authentic about, Sankranti festival, and how it's actually about us wanting to fly. And, like we become the kites, we become part of the kites, and we give ourselves the permission to fly during Sankranti. And I wanted to bring all these little concepts that my parents had taught me when we were kids. So I kind of wrote some basic ideas, as you can see. But obviously, I was so scared, like I didn't know how to move anything into the computer. So this is where it all kind of started coming, like singing in Unreal. And it was completely by fault. So I love to sing. I love to hum all the time when I'm doing my work. In fact, even when I'm talking in meetings, I'll start singing a little song. Or if I get too bored in a meeting, I'll start, instead of talking, I'll start singing. So this was what was happening at Unreal. There were these fantastic, talented people from all around the world, and they were telling us, you can do it, everybody can do it. And so this was the song. They tell us it's easy, it's hard out there to learn to sit. All languages are easy peasy. Real to Unreal is no joke. And so this is what I was doing while they were teaching classes. And I was like, I'm like one of those students who will start drawing, and making fun of my teachers, and because I'm feeling I have this imposter syndrome, because all those people were like visual effects supervisors, or they know how to use they know how to do those shots in Unreal. So I created, this is my storytelling concept. So I said, okay, I can do a rap song. And then I can do this idea that I was, the pandemic. The COVID stuff that was happening, we were all in a lot of darkness, and we were scared. My mom was in India, I was stuck in Los Angeles, and there was this fear every day that what's going to happen? Will I see her tomorrow? Will something bad happen to her? What if something bad happens? I can't even travel. So there was a lot of that fear, I want to say, and it was very scary. And so the idea started coming that we are in darkness and we want light. And also Unreal was very dark for me because I didn't know how to use it. I'm a filmmaker, I can make a film, but using the tools was me sitting in darkness. So I decided one of the most beautiful shlokas, obviously everyone knows this, Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritangamaya. And this is something that we're always told, in Sanskrit. And I remembered this. I remember it every day, but I remembered this shloka, and I said, that is it. We want that freedom, and we want that peace, and we want to move from darkness to light. And that's amazing. And I want to bring that to the project. And once that kind of came from the Upanishad, I started looking and researching what can I do, and I started going on the internet. My friend is actually a Kuchipudi dancer from and she lives in Paris, but it's from Andhra Pradesh, right? Kuchipudi, and I'm from Andhra, and I was like, this is great, this is my country, and I'm gonna give back. My dad's from Telangana, my mom is from Andhra, so technically it's, for me, I'm a Telugu person, period. And so I wanted to bring everything that I felt I was and I am, And I wanted to just bring that to screen. Did a lot of research in terms of dance and repetitiveness. And that's Tina Bosch, who's from Germany, and she's a fantastic contemporary dancer. And I'd met her many times in my life, and I wanted to kind of say thanks to her also in this project. So I did this very simple thumbnail that you can see, which was a person in red, and the darkness was coming, and the darkness was eating up this person, and the person disappears, and the person fights back and finds the courage. So that's the Shiva's third eye, finds the courage and does the Tandav. And that basically was my simplest idea that I could take from that 2 week of like listening to Unreal classes and saying, how can I sing in Unreal? How can I write in Unreal? How can I dance in Unreal? Because, Kuchipudi, Tandav, Shiva, these are all my favorite things. I did a few more thumbnails in black and white to see what else could happen. What would that look like? So finally, now we come to using, after 2 weeks of the fellowship, or almost 3 weeks of the fellowship, the idea got crystallized, saying, all right, you're going to do a music video, and let's see how that happens. And so these were some of my very initial ideas, like when, as a child, if you see children, they're playing. They're not stressed about how they are playing. They're not playing to prove to someone that they're playing. They're not worried about someone judging them. They're just playing. And I think that's who I am. I just play. I just enjoy the idea of play. And so when I took off that unwanted pressure that I put on myself, ki వాళ్ళేం అనుకుంటారు, లోక్ kya sochenge, what will people think? I'm this top level executive who doesn't know how to perform in the box. Like once I took away all of that, I really enjoyed. So that's the part of my talk, singing, dancing, writing, and creating and playing in Unreal. So I went to the marketplace, just picked up a lot of things, and it was like I went shopping. So here is one of the first images that I did, which was, you can multiply yourself, which is what I always thought about the project. You can change the scale for the movie. You can move the camera in ways that you can't move in the real world. And you can make the person, the biggest enemy that we have is ourselves, because we're constantly telling ourselves, we can't do this, we can't do this, we can't do this. More than the world telling us, I think we tell ourselves that a lot. And I don't know why we do that, because we're scared of failure, maybe. So this was another test that I had done, which you had seen earlier, this woman running through the doors. And these were these color doors that she was running. She was small, and then she was trying to break the doors. So I was doing some basic tests over there. This was her, blaming herself for not doing what she wanted to do. And some basic, like how do we do it if it was in virtual production, and like using some of the market assets that were already available and putting the character. So the character was given to us in the fellowship, at the Unreal Fellowship. There was this character called Echo, and all of us had to use Echo. Unfortunately, MetaHumans were not there at that point. But these were some tests in terms of how I wanted the camera to move very poetically and, kind of capture the moment and the silence that she was going into. I love playing very quickly with, I call it my 3D storyboarding, basically pre-visualizing your entire project before and failing faster. Like you can fail faster. If you don't like that idea, you can change it very quickly. And I think that's the power of creativity. That's the power of doing stuff in Unreal, I would say. So, kind of changing the color, changing the moods. So finally, I decided my storyboard. And so this girl, she's in the office, she's got too many Zoom meetings, and she's going crazy. And she's like, oh God, I need to get away. I need to go home. I need to be with my mother. And she's just screaming. And then she's like, okay, she finds Asatoma in her mind. And then she's peaceful. She's enjoying her life. And then even as she's enjoying, the pandemic is trying to get her. She multiplies herself, and then she realizes all she can do is just be herself and breathe. So this was like, I hired a storyboard artist, of course, beautiful storyboard artist, and just kind of did the whole story and said, how do I do this now? That's a lot of work. How do I get this done? So my 45 seconds had now become like 4 minutes. And so I found this amazing thing. I'm not an animator, but I've managed animators. I've reviewed animators. I've told them what's working and not working creatively. So I found something on the internet called the Mixamo. And Mixamo had rigged, it's already rigged and it had these motions or movements that you could capture. So this kind of saved me a lot. Like it saved a lot of my anxiety where I started taking bits and pieces and just taking screen grabs and just putting it into my Final Cut Pro. I'm a filmmaker, so it's easy for me to edit very quickly to say if my project and my timing is going to work or not. So I did a little bit of this testing, and this is exactly what I was talking about, like taking this dummy skeleton, putting it all together, and kind of creating a mood board or like a lineup in edit. We were very lucky actually to have this 1-2 hour session at the fellowship last year with a mocap artist. And so the mocap artist was doing exactly what we wanted them to do for the project that was not available on Mixamo. And if you're not an animator, how do you animate someone meditating? And there was nothing available in the market where a person was meditating and a person was doing the Shiva Tandava, like standing and doing that pose. And so I was like directing the mocap artist and saying, this is what I want. Can you please stand like this? And the person was like, what are you trying to do? Like, am I doing a yoga? And I'm like, no, this is a famous god and this is how he stands. And so I had to send all these references. And then he finally kind of gave me the best version of Shiva standing and meditating. But it was so much fun. So I did a very quick test of dance movements in high speed just to check like what was working, whether she would hold a mic and she would rap to the song, color tone, disco lights, what did I want, retro. I changed the toon shaders to just check like how different and unique I want my film to look like. I love experimenting, and I think that's what I call play, like you just play first and it's more like testing stuff. Projecting things in the background as if there were multiple things in different, boxes, like TVs were being played. Again, some toon shader stuff, more toon shader stuff, more experimenting in terms of color, look and feel. And I love this color, like it was like pink and yellow, it's quite comic book kind of a feel. And I was like, I want to try this out. So one of my favorite animals on the planet is a whale. And I wanted to use the whale for no reason. It's like, hey, in a real life, I can't get a person to play with the whale. So I can in Unreal. So I'm just going to use the whale, So I found this whale and I bought it on the marketplace in the Unreal marketplace. And you can see how I used it. So I was like, okay, let the sparkling globe happen. And she's dancing there and the best friend whale is going around her. And I was, you can tell I was having way too much fun. And then I'm not a singer. I can sing. I learn music, but the rap song and timing and like that's not my tone. So I collaborated. I said, this is what you would do if it was a real film, right? Like you would collaborate. And that was something that I really wanted to do, to feel energetic. So my actor, Harsh, like I kind of called him, he sings really well and he loves rapping. So I said, Harsh, let's write a song together. So we wrote a song together and then we asked this Asatoma, I wanted a very deep voice to come. So then he brought one of his best friends, Ricky, to the table. And then we were all starting to like jam every day in the evening, spend half an hour just doing the music. So the project kind of became a fun project. 3 weeks ago, I was sitting there crying every day and saying, Yaar, Shruti, what did you make me do? Like this is so difficult. And now after 3 weeks, I was like, Shruti, I think I'm making a music video. And she was like, really? And so it was really fun. as you can tell. And then, so Harsh is a male, of course, he's a guy. And I wanted more feminine energy for the rap. And I was doing Google, thanks to Google, I was like, female Indian rap singers who can speak in, who can rap in Telugu. Basically, I wanted it to be a Telugu song, but I just couldn't find like a female rap singer in Telugu. So I love DMC. She's one of India's top rap singers, female rap singers. And I called my producer in India and I said, yeah, find me like a rap singer, someone like this lady, she's just damn cool, man. And so like 2 days later, my producer reaches out to another casting director and says, yeah, MCD would like to talk to you if you want to talk to her. I was like, what are you telling me? Like DMC wants to talk to me? Like, this is crazy. And so like D came on the call and, we had a very quick WhatsApp call and I told her what I was doing. And she said, yeah, let's collaborate. Like I'm getting a music video. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm going to do the music for you. So she sang along with Harsh and Ricky. And then I had Roto, who's another very close friend, fantastic musician. Like he's just so amazing. And so he came on board and then we jammed and we said, what do you want the tone to be like? What do you want the speed of your song? And so I learned so much about rap songs in that few weeks. And so the basic thing was, so I remember Shruti kind of telling me when I was crying in one of those crying phases, she said, and it's very filmy, by the way, I'm a very filmy person, just so you know. So she was like, yaar, dar ke aage jeet hai, And I was like, of course, dar ke aage jeet hai, And it's such a cliched, like, hamming, you know what I mean, right? Like, even today when I think about it, really, dar ke aage jeet hai. And so that's where the song basically came from, because she kind of helped me, she was so persistent that nahi karna hai, try karo. And dar hai to theek hai, uske aage jeet hai. And like, that was basically the song. So English may doesn't translate, but that's what that was. And this is me doing
one in the way, well,
rapping
maybe
for doing the
nothing feels
like
real
facial
to
link
me anymore lately. Nothing feels real to me anymore lately. I just want to break this loop and stop feeling.
So you get it. So now I had to like kind of use my iPhone and, or my iPad and then like do this whole facial thing. And I was laughing. I was like, kya pagalpan hai? Like, where am I going with this project? I have no idea. But I'm having fun in the process of making it. And then I had to put that movement, the facial thing on the girl. And obviously, like, her eyes don't move. I'm not an animator, so I'm not moving anything. It's just her mouth moving. It was like, oh. So tons and tons of files. The instructors were so amazing at Epic Games. Like, every day they would like, tell us what was working. And they would look at me and say, aren't you a little too ambitious, like, to do this project for someone who was crying 3 weeks ago? Like, I don't want to do, let me go away. I was even like pretending I have COVID and I was going to write to them and say, I'm not feeling well, ye mere se nahi hoga. Give this opportunity to someone who deserves it. So they were like, you're a bit too ambitious. And I was like, yeah, I mean, like, I'm having fun. So again, I am so thankful for these people for creating these worlds for me that were in the marketplace and kind of matched the project and the look and the colors that I was going for, as you know, in the storyboard that I'd created, the previous ones that I'd created earlier. And literally started playing and putting everything in there and grabbing information. So now this was becoming real, like those ideas that I had on paper were now being translated into actual look and feel of the project that I was going for. Girl and the Whale and, all those little drawings that I had drawn. The colors. So let's just watch the music video. Yes? Okay.
When will I be free? Is a question I ask daily. Am I the one in my way? Well, maybe nothing feels real to me anymore lately. I just wanna break this loop and stop feeling crazy. इस दुनिया से क्या पाया जो दे दूं उसको मैं इतनी ताकत खुद के जीवन के डोर को खुद के हाथ में ले लूं वापस बस तू हर एक को आदत कर दे मुझे जो नाजुक अपनी खुशियों की मैं तो खुद ही हूँ एक ही मालिक Jesus करूँ मैं हासिल 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 आदत से मजबूर हूँ काफी चलते ही दिख जाए मंजिल Jesus करूँ मैं हासिल
Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritangamaya Mrityurma Amritangamaya आसान ये आशा लगे ज्यादा ये फासला अपना मुझे हारना दे दूं खुद का साधा सब कुछ मुझे जानना सब कुछ है पहचाना है भी बात ये मामला उसको है सुलझाना
था जब उसे मिटा दिया अब पर देखी से फेंके राहत अब जैसे जीते की आदत आसमां पे उड़ने की ख्वाहिश देख के चल दूं मैं आगे मुझे देख के दुनिया भी भागे सपनों से भर दूं मैं आंखें खुल के ही कर लूं मैं बातें story of my life and decide who I'm gonna be I took control over my mind now I'm feeling free all the anxiety and fears yeah they're clearing up gave me the strength to realize now I know what's love Jesus got on the hustle 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 Jesus got on the hustle
So that's it. That's basically my journey, you know, and yeah, that's basically singing, dancing, writing.
That was a great
Playing.
tap out there. Wow. That was really
And it's also like it was like such a powerful thing, you know. It was like a mantra of I wanted to give back also to the community in a way that I felt empowered with Unreal, and I wanted to also I felt empowered with the whole process of creating the project. So as most of you know, I love supporting communities. I work with SIGGRAPH Asia, with the CFI India, with VFX Summit, with Women in Animation, and so I continue to be a story consultant. I'm a fellowship mentor. I'm also helping out with the Writing in Unreal program. I'm an assistant producer there. And virtual production is my new gig. I'm going to learn as much as I can. I'm like that SpongeBob kind of a character. Like I just want to just absorb everything because you never know where something creatively will become your tool to play with.
Yeah.
So that's it. Thank you, everyone. And Dhanyavadalu. It's been a fantastic thing to share my journey with all of you here.
Thank you so much, Vani. It was really an insightful session. I'm sure our audience had a few takeaways from the whole session.
I hope so too.
Yeah, so we have some questions from the audience. Let's jump into it. So, first question is, did you know about Unreal before you started on the fellowship? Like, can you describe a little about the Unreal fellowship that you did?
I kind of knew about Unreal as a real-time engine, but I didn't know about the fellowship. Like, I didn't even know it existed, to be very honest. It was like a complete happy accident. Today, it looks like it was a happy accident. When it happened, it was like, no, this is not what I want to do. So, yeah. So, the Unreal Fellowship, okay, the second question was yours was, tell us a little bit about the Unreal Fellowship. I think it was a perfect thing. It was a very community kind of a feeling. There were 100 of us on Zoom. Everyone was going through something at the pandemic. Some people had lost their jobs. Some people were trying new things. Everybody was working from home. So we got to see what everybody feels and looks like, like their dogs are barking, their children are crying. It's something else is happening. Kamala Harris had won the election. It was just like a lot of stuff happening, and it was like group therapy is what I want to call it. Like, it was a fellowship of all the technical stuff, but also on a personal level, you just realized we're all human beings, no matter what we are, we're all vulnerable, and that kind of opened up many things in terms of respecting people all around the world. The fellowship was fantastic. The teachers were like, I can't tell you, like, they were so kind and polite, and they had to share everything that they could in the 5 weeks so that you create something. So for me, it was like, I think I only took 5% of what they taught me and created this. So if you see some of the other Unreal Fellowship films, you'll see like someone who's really experienced can do so many wonders with it. But I'm happy that I learned a little bit.
Yeah.
Something new.
We have another question. So can you tell us little challenges about the fellowship and the amazing things that you took away from the fellowship?
Wow. The amazing things that I took away from the fellowship. I think I took away, and I knew this all the time, having run studios all around the world and being a part of the community. But I think one of my biggest takeaway was say yes to any opportunity that comes your way, because you never know where that's going to take you. That was one big lesson for me, because I was saying, no, this is not me. This is not what I want to do. The second thing was just that talent is universal, and with this kind of a real-time stuff that you're able to create and visualize your ideas, something like this would have taken 20 people in 10 years ago for me to create this. I would have needed a modeler, I would have needed a like someone who was doing the world building, I needed a matte painter, I needed I just needed so many people to create what I created single-handedly. And I think I love that. It kind of gives you that freedom to go try. And so there are no more excuses for us to say, someone told me I can't be a filmmaker. Like many years ago, somebody said you can't be a filmmaker, and that was true for that point. But today I would say that if someone came and told me today that you can't be a filmmaker, I'll be like, who are you to tell me that? I'll go make my own film. I don't need someone to tell me that you can't be a filmmaker. Like, the time has changed, and the power and the freedom of real-time engine really gets you to do a lot of the things that you want to do, right? Sorry, I just have to turn off my phone. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we have another question. Can you please tell us more about Women's Creators Program and how you partnered with Epic Games?
Oh, wow. You've done some research about me. Thanks. So basically, as I said last year, the whole point of reaching out to Shruti and Quentin and Epic Games was really to say, we have to do something. We have to empower women. And so when Shruti kind of said, you have to go through this program, I didn't know the bigger plan in that was going to happen after this program. So absolutely, like, it's been a year since I finished my fellowship. I'm still high on that energy of like, how do I empower more women? How do I empower people that have been told the same thing that I've been told, that you can't do this, and can do this. We can do this, and we want to do that. So it was really coming back and say, hey, let's do a women creators program, and kind of made like a roadmap of what we can do, what I took away from the fellowship, how can we speed track it, because women had kids and jobs, and they had to take care of the house, and they had to take care of so many things that it was not possible for them to do what I was doing, like an 8-hour, 9-hour day fellowship every day for 5 weeks. So we kind of said like, okay, we can't do that. We can't do 5 days a week. Let's make it 3 days a week. Let's make it 2 hours a week or 3 hours a day or something like that. And let's give them the bare minimum. So we went through like a rigorous application list. We reached out and then finally, magically, again, with a great support from Asifa India, without who I could not have done this program, and without my team efforts. And the support that we got from Epic was fantastic. Like they did everything. We came in and kind of partnered with them to say, let's do this together. And I was fortunate to do the Women Creators Batch 1. So I think we're planning on doing more of these Women Creator batches, not just for India, but also for Asia. So that module is being used in many countries right now, Shruti tells me. So it's all very good.
So I think we have finished the time, but one last question, a personal question from my side. So what are your future plans? Like, what are you planning to do after this Unreal program?
Well, I'm still a mentor with Unreal. And as I told you, I'm working in the new module with Unreal here in Los Angeles called Writing in Unreal. Look it up. It's fantastic. It's taking filmmakers and reading their scripts and helping them visualize their ideas inside of Unreal. And that's been done by Karen, who is an Academy Award-winning producer. So it's her baby. So I'm just super excited to kind of be there, like a little person over there, just observing and learning a lot about what the future is going to be and how we can unleash this freedom and power for filmmakers. I'm a filmmaker, so I'm absolutely loving this Writing for Unreal program. And what else am I doing? So as I said, I'm learning a lot about virtual production. I'm learning about how to write immersive storytelling. I'm already doing that for a year, but now I'm going to try and use Unreal to see if I can merge those things. I'm also doing preschool shows. I'm writing and developing them with a Canadian producer. So I'm kind of using Unreal, model some of the characters, put them, using Mixamo, getting some mocap data from friends and all around the world and putting it all together. So I think it's overall been a journey. It's hard. I'm not, I'm looking very happy right now, so don't go by it. There are like ups and downs every day. I think that's really going the way that it should probably go. And like one piece of advice that I want to give everyone is just play, like don't think too much. Like even if it is 5-10 seconds, just go keep creating something every day. If it's a photograph, if it's a painting, if it's Unreal, if it's bad drawings, there's no such thing as a bad drawing. You just do it and stop comparing yourself with others and just keep producing. So my mantra was stop worrying, start creating. And that's my advice to literally everybody. That's probably that.
Thank you so much, Saraswathi. It was really an insightful session, and I'm really inspired from your talk that I'll start creating. I'm really bad at drawing, but I'll really start creating from now on.
Exactly. That's what this talk is supposed to do. This talk is just supposed to just get you going, and if you're worried, it's a normal process, and it's okay to be worried. It's okay to get frustrated. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. And I wish VFX Summit and the team that's working so hard to get all of our speakers together all the very best. And have a wonderful evening, I guess. Bye. Sure.